Exactly.
Let me sit straight up.
You all have everything
is
you
it?
need. You have the food that you need. You have everything. You all well?
Yeah.
Rabbi,
Yeah.
you hear Sarah? Sarah Fox?
Oh, Sarah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
nice.
get Barry. Hi, how are you?
I'm
Happy?
so happy that you're joining. I'm so happy. I left you a
Oh, I've
message.
been
I
waiting
didn't hear
for
from you. I was a little concerned. I said, you know what? If I don't hear from you now, I'm going to go to your house.
No, we're fine. We're just busy. I got a new computer. We're just very busy here. We had a lot of problems and they're all solved. We had a sewer backup in the basement. I don't think I told you, or did I? Did I
David, why
tell
don't
you?
you call me?
What?
Why don't you call me?
What could you do?
Anytime you need anything, give us a call.
Did you hear what I said? I had a sewer backup.
Yeah,
Sewer.
I can help with that. I help
Yeah.
everybody.
Well, we had the VTech restoration people. They took a week to clean it up. And everything went in storage and now it's gonna come back soon. And we had to rehabilitate the entire basement.
Hey, man.
Oy
Wow.
vey. And then I got a new computer today and I got an iPhone and I've been busy doing all this stuff at any rate.
Well, I'm
Who's
so
all
glad
that-
you made time to celebrate with us together and celebrate with Lag-BaOmer.
Is there anyone else on? I got someone
Yes.
else.
Yeah,
a lot of people on.
A lot of people
Let me
on.
get a hold of Barry. Barry,
Are you on the, what?
Get up and move. I'm moving it a little closer so I can see everybody.
We see you fine. You're the birthday boy, right?
Where your birthday?
Get my crown. My wife got me.
There you go. Now.
It's perfect.
Absolutely.
Happy birthday, Rabbi Kramer.
Thank you, Mark. How can I see everybody's on these guys? Yeah.
That's why it's good to have kids around.
You are kidding.
Yeah. Oh, my kids are great. Mendel's handling all the technology.
just you, yeah. All right, tell him happy
I have
birthday.
to see myself. Perfect. Wow. Now I can see everybody. Excellent. This is perfect.
Talk now.
No, that's not. No, it's perfect.
Barry, talk.
Perfect.
Oh, wow.
Excellent.
Good job.
Birthday, Does it help? Hi, Barry Pinchas. Nice to see you.
Hi, Rabbi. How are you?
Nice.
Hi, Rabbi. It's
Hi,
Tara.
Mark. Hi, everybody.
I didn't ask you how old you are already.
25.
All right.
It's a good
Hi,
number.
Rabbi. Jerry and Susie Ducey here. Hi, Rabbi. Happy
Hi,
birthday.
Nadine. Hi.
Hi, Rob.
Cookie.
Hi, Rabbi.
Hi, Rabbi. Hi, Steve.
I wrote for Rabbi.
It's Tara.
Hi, Tara.
Hi, how are you? Mazel
Good,
tov.
good. Thank you. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for
It means a
inviting
lot
us.
to me when you all join on a special day, a birthday, and Lag-BaOmer. Hi, Marty.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. If anybody wants to talk, you can just unmute yourself. We're going to start shortly our special program in honor of Lag-BaOmer and my wife's surprise birthday party here.
Good wife. She really is.
Thank you.
Happy
My wife
birthday,
prepared enough
Rabbi.
food for all of you
Okay.
to come join us.
Hello, Rabbi Kramer.
Hello, David.
Can you? Okay. Do I have this so you can see me? I don't know if I.
Yes, David, I can see you. I can see you perfectly. Thank you, David. You just celebrated David's birthday. Thank you.
Hi, Rabbi. How are you, Rabbi?
Hello. Hi.
Happy birthday, Rabbi.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Janice. Thank you. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Rabbi.
If you want.
Yes, Nadine.
Happy birthday.
Alexa, turn on the living room lamp.
Happy birthday, Rabbi Kramer.
Who's that?
No, move closer.
If I bring a mask.
No, because. Listen, can you take off the mic, please? Thank you. That way, fine.
Rabbi, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Where's the birthday cake, Rabbi?
Thanks.
Where's the cake?
Put it close to the screen.
Wife, Connie. Why, Albert and Eugenia, happy birthday. Thank you for your wishes, man. I'm wishing happy birthday to your son. I'm wishing happy birthday to your son.
They're muted, but you can unmute yourself if you want.
Hi, Rabbi. Did you hear Jacob and Martin?
Happy birthday, Rabbi.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thanks. Amen. Thanks.
Happy birthday, Rabbi. Happy birthday, many more.
Hi, Rabbi. Happy
Did you-
birthday from Jerry and Susie.
Did you
We're
hear
on
Jacob and
audio
Mark?
only.
Thank you
Hey,
all
Rabbi.
for the wishes. Thank you. Yes.
Hello to my 90-year-old mother.
Hello. Oh, wow.
Hello. Wow. Wow.
Hi.
Thank you for joining.
Happy
birthday, Rabbi.
Thanks for joining.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. It's so nice to see everybody. Hi, Abby.
She said 90 birthdays.
I want to come for the cake, Rabbi.
Oh, God willing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Soon 90 and then
That's
120
Scott's
for
grandma.
both of us. 120.
120, Rabbi.
Thank you.
These big boys,
Amen.
remember?
Thank you.
So, birthday, happy birthday.
Thank you.
That's
So honored that you all
birthday,
joined.
Rabbi.
Thank you. Hi, Mariana. Hi, Ola. Thank you for joining.
Happy birthday.
Kabbalah starts in time.
Hi again, Rabbi. Did you hear
Thank you.
Martin and Jacob?
Rabbi, you remember these two
I
big
don't see
boys?
you, I don't see you, but I hear you. Oh, I see you
I
now.
can't
Yes.
figure out how to do both. I just wanted to know if you saw Martin and Jacob. Jacob said
We
Yom
see the
Haledet
Yankees, so
Sameach.
that's good. So
Good,
thank you. Thanks for joining us.
good. Thank you. Happy birthday again.
Thank you.
Now I'm ready.
Happy birthday, Rabbi, from Jordan and Barbara Fogel.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. I mean, thanks. So my wife put together this beautiful birthday party. Thank you, Khani, with the happy birthday balloon, with the happy birthday hats. Yeah.
Happy birthday, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Happy birthday,
So thank you. Amen. Thanks. So it's another special birthday. We're also celebrating someone else's birthday. So my namesake, the one I'm named after. Who am I named after?
Shimon Bar Yochai.
It's the birthday of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. Many people don't know, because most people, the reason why we celebrate is really because of the yard site of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. He lived in the 2nd century, shortly after the destruction of the Holy Temple. Another reason why we celebrate, also because the students of Rabbi Akiva stopped dying. The students of Rabbi Akiva, he had 24,000 students, and yet they all passed away because they all perished because they didn't respect one another. And yet, on the day of Lag BaOmer, this special day, they stopped dying, and that's why we celebrate on this very special day. So we're going to begin with one of my favorite stories of Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon was sitting with another 2 scholars, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi. They were sitting together and they were having a discussion. They were discussing the Romans. Now let's remember that the Romans, just a short while earlier, destroyed the temple. And suddenly Rabbi Yehuda gets up and he says, the Romans are so good. They're so great to our people. Look what they have done.
Doesn't go any
They
louder.
have made streets. They have built bridges. They have erected baths for all of us. Rabbi Yossi decided to be quiet. You know, sometimes it's better to be quiet. Rabbi Shimon spoke up. And Rabbi Shimon said, no, you know what? They did it all for themselves. I'm pausing for a moment. I listened to my wife.
Hi, everyone.
My technician, Mango.
Some text out.
Hi, Rabbi. Happy birthday, Rabbi.
So, ready to continue? Do I get the green light to go ahead? Do you all hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
I want some cake, Rabbi.
No, just leave it. Okay. So, getting back to my story. So, Reb Shimon Bar Yochai said, no, all the Romans did it just for themselves. They didn't really care about anybody else. They built the bridges because they wanted tolls. They were the first ones to make the tolls. That's why when we go over the bridge today, we have to pay a toll, thanks to the Romans. They made the bathhouses for their own pleasure. There was somebody on the side, Yehuda ben Gerim. He was a regular person. He was standing on the side and listening to this conversation. And he said to himself, wow, this was a great conversation that I just heard. So he went around and he told everybody, he says, you know what, I just heard the greatest scholars discussing about the Romans. And little by little, the news traveled until it traveled to the Romans themselves. And they heard about this. And they, of course, being the government that the Romans were in, it wasn't a free world. So they said, Yehuda, that spoke so beautifully about us, we're going to make him the spokesperson for the Romans. Rabbi Yossi, who was quiet, he's going to go to exile. He was quiet. He's going to be quiet for many, many years. And Reb Shimon will deserve the death penalty. Spoke against the Romans. So immediately, Reb Shimon and his son, Reb Elazar, ran to the base of Medrash, to the study hall, and they studied there, and they hid in the attic. But then the Romans started a much more intense search, and they had to run away. And they ran away to the cave. And there's details to how they got food and water. We're not going to go into it. But they were there for 13 years. At the end of the 13 years, when they left, they were there for 12, and then they were there for another 12 months. After the 13 years, when they left, so immediately they asked, Shimon turned around to his son and says, what help? What can I do to fix up the world? What can I do to make the world a better place? And to add something to the world. And at the end, they find a certain walkway that they fix. That walkway should be okay for the Kohen to be able to walk. So my friends, my dear friends, first of all, again, I want to thank everybody. It means a lot to me that you came out to celebrate the birthday. I was thinking, what should be the theme of this special birthday celebration? I thought in this time, as we're all in quarantine, just like Reb Shimon was. He was quarantined for 13 years. I hope we won't have to stay quarantined for 13 years. God have mercy on us. Hopefully not even 13 months. But I thought that one thing for sure we could learn from this is the importance of being there for each other in these very difficult times. As the Rebbe points out, Reb Shimon Bar Yochai sat in the cave and studied He even had a visitor every day studying with him, Elijah the prophet. So you'd think he'd come out and he would sit down to study. Yet he came out, and what did he do? He went to help the world, to make a difference to the world. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai once was with the author of the Zohar, and in the Zohar he writes a parable. He talks about, the Zohar is the main book of Kabbalah. I'm sure many of you heard about Kabbalah. Well, the Zohar is the book that we read. He was the founder of the Zohar of Kabbalah. And in that book, he writes about a ship that had many rooms inside. And one of the people in the ship said, you know what? Let me make a hole. I'm thirsty. Maybe some water will come in. I'll make a hole by me. I won't disturb anybody else. I'll just make a hole in my cabin. Yet we all know what happened at the end. When you make a hole in one cabin, it affects everybody. I think this is the great lesson that we learn out from the corona. That we think to ourselves, what's going to be the big deal? If I don't quarantine myself, I go out, and big deal, so I'll give it over to 5 people. But these 5 give it over to another 5 people, another 5 people. And we realize from the virus how small the world is and how each one really affects the whole world. So you can imagine if that's in negativity, how much it is in energy, in positive energy. If we make a difference to the world, if we could add something to the world, and every good deed, nothing is too small or nothing is too big. If we add something to the world, how much we could affect the entire world. One day, a group of people came to Reb Shimon Bar Yochai and said, we need rain in Israel. In Israel, often they lack of rain, and it was already many weeks or months that it hasn't been raining. So they asked Reb Shimon to pray for them to have rain. Now, usually when you pray for something, we all know, we pray, we say Tehillim, we go to the shul and we pray. His teacher, Chayni Amagal, famously, he made a circle and told God he's not going out of the circle unless it starts to rain. You're at Reb Shimon, what did he do? He said a drush. He said a verse. He said the pasuk, Hine Matov Manoyim. It's a verse in Tehillim, in the chapter of Tehillim. It says how beautiful it is for people to sit together in brotherly love, in love with one another, and be there for each other when they need each other. And suddenly it started raining. So the Rebbe says, how is it possible that just by saying a verse and talking about the verse, he should bring rain onto the world? And the Rebbe explains, how did he do it? Because when you talk about loving each other and being there for each other and the unity amongst people in the world, yes, that could bring blessing from God down to the world. And the Rebbe explains why. The Rebbe says that when we go, what divides us? Only our physical bodies, our physical differences, the gashmias of the world divides us. When we talk about our souls, there's no division between one and the other. We're all one. We're all connected. And Reb Shimon was said that by verse, Hine Matov, and talking about it, the beauty of the people sitting together and how special it is for everybody sitting together in love and being there for each other. Through this, he was able to bring blessings from a very high place and was able to cause even rain. So with this, it's also, and the Rebbe says that on a birthday, it's Mazali Geiver, as is brought down in the Talmud from the day that Moshe Rabbeinu was born. So tonight is a very special day. First of all, it's the day that Rabbi Reb Shimon Bar Yochai was born. It's also the day that he passed away, and he asked that on the day that he passed, it should be a celebration because his neshama, his soul, when somebody passes away, there's nothing left of the guf. There's nothing left of the body. The body gets buried, the special mitzvah of burial, but what stays is the neshama. The soul stays forever. And Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, who was a spiritual person, he says, look, if my neshama is going to stay forever, this should be a very special day. this is the day that my soul returned to the Creator. And he asked that on that day it should be a celebration. So tonight we're celebrating in honor of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai's birthday and his yahrzeit. And we're also celebrating my birthday, as my wife, thank you, Chani, for putting together this beautiful party. And the birthday, so because it's such a special day, one should give blessings. Birthday is Mazali gave it. It's like one's own personal Rosh Hashanah. And I'm not sure if I'm accomplishing my purpose, what I'm supposed to, what I was created for. But one thing I know for sure, God created me for a purpose, and God created me for a reason. If God wouldn't want me to be on this world, he would, he wouldn't give me the life. The fact that God gives me life and God gives me energy and I wake up every morning, that's a sign that God wants me to be in this world. So to me and to all of us and everybody in their on their birthday, it's our own personal Rosh Hashanah. And it's because it's such a special day for me, my own personal Rosh Hashanah, I want to take the opportunity to give everybody a blessing, everybody who's here and everybody who couldn't make it, those who are here on the Zoom and those who are watching on the live YouTube, that may God bless all of us with health and happiness and nachas and everything that we ask for during this special Farbrengen, during this special gathering, should be fulfilled, and God should shower us with blessings. L'chaim, I'm going to make a special l'chaim. You can all join me. Those of you who have wine or water or juice or Coke, please join me in saying a l'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. L'chaim to life. Thanks for joining me. Is my father on?
Yes. Chaim Shimon.
Wanted to give a chance to my father to say l'chaim, and then we will have the honor of having our guest speaker, our guest Farbringer, Rabbi Cantor from Bangkok, Thailand. I hope he's not going to speak in Thai. I hope he will speak English. And I'm looking forward. He travels around the world to speak. And I'm looking forward to hearing him as well.
Chaim Shimon.
Or my father-in-law. You can press unmute. Okay, I guess I think they're on, but maybe they got shy. Maybe we'll hear from them later. So Rabbi Cantor, you're up.
Go to my absent.
You have to pick up your
Happy birthday. So what was your drink of choice, Rabbi, for your birthday? Okay. Right.
L'chaim, Rabbi Kramer. Happy birthday.
Sorry.
Hey, Alan.
Doing some technical.
Having technical bandwidth difficulties.
There you go.
Good evening. By you guys, happy Lag Baimer. Good. Assuming it's already, you already did this for same. It's not yet evening, maybe not. By me, it's morning. Oh, somebody's letting time. Beautiful. Okay, no, l'chaim. I'll confess, my l'chaim is water. It's 7 o'clock in the morning over here in Bangkok, the other side of the world. The world is still here, 11 hours ahead of you. So you have what to look forward to, a nice, beautiful sunrises, Baruch Hashem, l'chaim. So as we mentioned that it's Lag BaOmer, the day of Lag BaOmer is a day of rejoicing. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. I was listening to a talk that the Rebbe gave at the Lag BaOmer parade in front of 770 Eastern Parkway 50 years ago, 1970. And the Rebbe quoted from the Zohar being the book, of course, of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and said that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai opens up the Zohar and speaks about the fact that the world has a sustenance from the fact that children learn Torah. There's something very, very special about the breadth of children studying Torah, and not just children that go to an organized Torah study. Rebbe emphasized children in general, even if they only take they're not part of an organized or an ongoing official study, but the mere fact that they take opportunities to study Torah, to be connected to Torah, this brings a very special merit to the world. As I'm saying merit, I'm recognizing the merit and Merrick are not far off. So I'm sure Merrick brings a lot of special blessings to the world as well. When people are doing the right thing in Merrick, all you have to do is change the CK for a T and you have merit. Good. At any rate, the Rebbe went on to say something very powerful, but I'd like about how to teach Yiddishkeit and how children should absorb Torah. And for that I'll go to a story I heard only recently, to be honest, but it kind of completed a worldview that I guess I had naturally after 20. I think we just celebrated 27 years in Bangkok, but I heard it in words that made an indelible impression on me, and I'm sure it will on you. Rabbi Yehuda Weg is the shliach in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm not sure exactly where it is, someplace out there. He says about, he's there, I think 40 years ago already, or maybe more. And he tells about the difficulties of starting up Chabad in Tulsa. Tulsa is, it's Oklahoma. And he came there and he wanted to start a Sunday school. And some of the local Jewish establishment was a little bit up in arms because they had some form of Sunday school. It wasn't teaching halachic Torah or whatever. It was a different group. But they felt that this was inappropriate, that this young rabbi should come and open another Sunday school. Rabbi Weg says, I was young and so on. And I asked Rabbi Chadakov, Lubavitch headquarters, what should I do? Lubavitch headquarters, Rabbi Chadakov said, look, doesn't have to be a Sunday school. You can open a Monday school, a Tuesday school, a Wednesday school, but make sure not to, God forbid, have any conflict. Everything has to be with peace. Rabbi Weg said, I was a young man and hot under the collar. And so I asked Rabbi Chadakov. Rabbi Chadakov was Rebbe's chief secretary, as you know. And I asked Rabbi Chadakov, what is the name of the organization? And so he said, of course, the name of the organization that all the shluchim, all the Rebbe's emissaries were sent under, the name is Merkaz Linyonei Chinuch, the Center for Matters of Education, Jewish Education. So Rabbi Weg said, I was intending to ask, almost with a certain impudence, that he said, Rabbi Chadakov, I'm not going to do education. I'm not going to open the Sunday school. So what was I sent here for? Rabbi Chadakov answered to me like this. He says, you can make a Monday school and a Wednesday school and everything else, but only with love, without argument, without conflict. You were sent to show the Freilichkeit von Yiddishkeit, to show the joy of Judaism. In other words, what you're going to be teaching is not just teaching when you teach book teaching. What you're going to be teaching is that Yiddishkeit, Judaism, is a joyous thing. It's a lively thing. It's something. It's not an oivei. It's a celebration, and that he said is what you're going to be teaching, and that's what you're going to educate about. Said the Rebbe. So that's a story which has come something I think I knew by just naturally, but to hear those words brought everything together. And the Rebbe 50 years ago in this parade was saying the name of the parade is a salute to Judaism. I think maybe that's the theme of all the parades. A salute to Judaism. And a salute to Judaism means that we get kids out into the street, that it's not about studying something particular in Torah. Of course, passages of Torah are said and teaching is had. But more than that, it's a statement that Judaism is something we're alive, we're proud of. We're not hiding in God forbid, in shame or any embarrassment. It's something we're joyous with and we're proud of. And this is the most, of course, effective way and the most critical way to making sure that Yiddishkeit moves on and remains alive, remains something that our children want to be part of. Because nobody wants to be part of an oivei. Well known that the well-known joke of the person showing off his dog who knows how to speak Yiddish, but he throws the stick and he says, fetch. And the dog starts moaning on pain in the ground. And he says, silly dog. He says, I didn't say kvetch. I said fetch. So kvetch is a word that is a part of our language. Kvetch is a thing that we like to think we engage in, but actually there's a famous Dennis Prager talk where he says that one of the characteristics of the emissaries that ever sent out is joy. And he said the ones that are most joyous get sent furthest away. And he said he thinks that Lubavitch headquarters has these little spies. They go around and they see if somebody's not smiling on the job, headquarters says, you got to come back. If they see he smiles a lot, they say, oh, you can go to the other end of the world. So I don't know, Rabbi Kramer smiles a lot. So I don't know how he landed up so close in Merrick. They should have sent him out to Calcutta or something, some other place. Maybe he was taken already. But I can tell you that 27 years ago, when we were looking to go to be shluchim of the Rebbe, we were very excited about maybe Long Island. We even had a meeting with Rabbi Teldon. At the time, there was some discussion about Long Island, thought about Long Island, but it wasn't meant to be, and got marching orders to Thailand. So you can see I'm still smiling, thank God. Smiling more than ever, because there's something very, very, very special about being far away. Why do you need, besides the time zone, that it's convenient time zone, it's when everybody else is sleeping, I'm up. When everybody's up, I'm sleeping. Besides that, though, of course, there's something very unique and very special that comes out, dafka, when you're far. There's a saying that near the sea is the driest place. Dry sand is near the sea. There's also something that the Rebbe told his emissaries very often is that the further you are, the closer you are. There's something about the thirst that a Jew feels when he's far. And we get many opportunities to interact with Jews that are very far away. To a Long Island story that happened in Thailand. This is a story that goes back 25 years at least. You see, I came out to be two Jews, one Jew, two synagogues, two Jews, three synagogues. So when I came out, there was actually a very small Jewish community, but there were two synagogues. It was actually geographic mostly. The main synagogue was built in an area which still wasn't the main residential area. The main amount of Jews didn't live there, but a woman had passed away. She was a woman of Dutch origin. The Dutch had colonized Indonesia, and they had moved, her and her husband had moved from Indonesia to Bangkok. And her husband had founded one of the first lapidaries, one of the first gem cutting industries here. They were very wealthy. He predeceased his wife, and then they didn't have children. Then his wife was active in a small Jewish community that was founding. And she would have services in a home that she bought for that purpose. Upon her passing, she left in her will the property and money to build a building. So there was an old wooden house, money to build a proper structure. And a 3-story building was built. It was finished in 1980. Nobody ever, it was seemed to be way too big at the time. Today, we're knocking it down and building something that should suit our current needs. It's way too small. But this is in 1980. So I came in 1993. So this shul was not much used, only high holidays, but a group of Sephardic Jews, gem merchants, from the 80s on, it was a very bustling gem metropolis here. A lot of precious stones, semi-precious stones, a lot of Sephardic Jews, Afghanistan, Iran, would come here. So they had opened a congregation in the gem center of town, which is called Even Chen, which means literally precious stone. And how do you become a rabbi of two congregations at the same time? So it was understood that high holidays I would be in the big shul, and all the other Shabbos, there was nothing happening in the big shul. I would go to the Sephardi shul. So we used to move to a little apartment with my wife and child. But then when we had our second child, it was difficult to move every Shabbos. So my wife, I heard from a Rabbi Lazar in Milan, the father of the current chief rabbi of Russia. Rabbi Lazar in Milan had many, many years been walking also. He lived in one place. He used to go Shabbos to another place. He would walk one way for an hour and stay there till the end of Shabbos. I asked my wife, would that be better than us moving? Yeah, better. So every Shabbos for many, many years, I would leave home 7:30 in the morning and come back after Shabbos. Comes Shabbos Teshuvah. Now, you know, Shabbos Teshuvah is usually a big Shabbos, the Shabbos between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So I'm walking to shul, but the thing is that Shabbos Teshuvah in Bangkok is a very small Shabbos. It used to be. Before there was a more established local Jewish community, it was mostly gem dealers and mostly business travelers. People don't travel between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So usually Shabbos Teshuvah is the main speech of a rabbi during the year, but Shabbos Teshuvah for us, very small Shabbos. So I'm walking to the shul and I'm thinking, will there be a minyan or won't there be a minyan? Well, I get there. There's 7 Jews and I'm the 8th Jew. Okay. And somebody told me that there's a 9th Jew who's in town, but he's sleeping in a hotel down the block. We can wake him up. We need be. Okay. Figure, let's think about waking him up. At the meantime, when we go to call him, but there's no 10th. What do we do if you don't have a 10th Jew in Bangkok? I don't know what you do in Merrick. You probably go out in the street and you ask, excuse me, so are you Jewish? What am I going to do in Bangkok? It's so we wait, and I figure I'm going to wait till 9:30. Davening's supposed to start at 9. I'll wait till 9:45, 10, and then I can walk to the Chabad house. We had just started after the Rebbe passed away on Gimel Tammuz. So 30 days later, we opened a new concept, which was a new concept to the world, a Chabad house in the Israeli backpacking area. So another thing that had developed here is the Israeli backpackers, after the army, they want to get away. They've spent 3-4 years literally in a state of constant readiness, constant work. So they want to just get away from everything, put away their watch. Sometimes they even put away their calendar. And they just chill out, turn off the world. So Thailand is a very hot destination. So we saw that there's many Israelis coming. And there had been, Chabad had done seders already in the past, in Kathmandu and in India and in Bangkok. We decided, let's open something permanent. And we opened a Chabad house called Or Menachem, after the Rebbe. And this became a prototype that today you have all over the world. A Chabad house reaching out to Israeli travelers, it's a phenomenal concept because they're looking for a home away from home. There's a people that don't have really an association with Yiddishkeit as Judaism. You know, we know that the birthright program is very, very popular in the United States and other countries. Get kids to go to Israel when they're teens, and it creates a connection to their heritage, their Yiddishkeit, and it's worth the millions and today probably tens and hundreds of millions of dollars that has been invested over the years. The studies they do, they show that it helps bring the numbers of intermarriage down. It helps create an identity. But the reality is that for Israeli kids, Israel is Israel. Israel is a place where there's a lot of dichotomies, a place where there's a lot of there's politics. You just saw now 3 elections where a government could barely be formed, and that shows that there's a lot of division there. There's today we have a scenario where we have to hope that the plague hasn't brought out some other cultural divides across society. And it's a society which needs, Israeli kids don't grow up feeling Jewish necessarily. They're very Israeli. When they travel, it's kind of like a birthright trip for them. It's all of a sudden they'll come to a Friday night, even though they may not have gone to a Friday night at home. And as long as you provide a kiddush and a free meal, they're not coming for the free meal because it's not like we're giving steak and lamb chops. We're giving, nice food, hummus and stuff, good food, chicken, and it's good stuff, but it's not the free food they're coming for. They're coming for an environment. They're coming for a Jewish experience that they didn't even know they really wanted. And this is what I call the birthright in reverse, giving Israeli kids the experience of experiencing Yiddishkeit, particularly when they're traveling. Now, one of the good things about, I mean, I'll just tell you, just for the kicks of it, in the 2000, I want to show off, just to give you the scope. 2018, I can tell you, we served 92,000 Shabbos meals in Thailand. We have 5 centers, 92,000 Shabbos meals over the course of 1 year. That's besides the holiday meals. I think we had holiday meals. There's another 28,000 meals if you count holiday meals, Pesach, Rosh Hashanah, and so on. So it's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal thing. We had just started it then, right after they passed away, 26 years ago, whatever, 25 years ago, and it was a new concept. The budget actually. It's not a fundraiser. Don't Rabbi Kramer, we're not fundraising here online at your event. What I tell people is a fascinating thing. The Birthright program has to give tickets and hotels. I tell people we don't have to give the tickets and hotels. The kids buy the tickets themselves. They plan out the whole thing. The only thing we have to do is give kiddush, have a place for them to come. Kiddush and the pita and hummus and gefilte fish is not in, by the way. The first year I made a seder for Israelis, I gave you gefilte fish. You have to understand that at least half of them are Sephardic Jews. They gefilte fish. What is that? We give Moroccan fish. At all the Chabad houses Friday night, we have a hot, peppery Moroccan-style fish. At any rate, so all we have to do is give the food. So we have birthright in reverse, but we have a great advantage. They're planning their own trips. We just have to give the Jewish environment. Anyway, that's just a parenthetical statement about something that developed here. They had no idea about. My wife and I thought we were going to this little sleepy community, and we were so upset that we didn't get to go to Long Island. My wife's sister is Chabad in Port Washington, so she's like a couple of years older than her. So Rabbi Paltila just started up a year before that. We saw Port Washington. We said, that's the dream. My wife is from Los Angeles. That's the dream. American suburbia. I grew up in Australia, in Melbourne, also suburbia. Who wants to be in Bangkok, a concrete jungle? It's jungle. It's that. Okay, but thank God that ever sent us there, and we've been smiling, thank God, ever since. It's unbelievable. It's a beautiful thing. So I'm walking down this. I'm in this shul, 8 Jews. Gonna wake up the 9th Jew, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm a young guy, 24 years old. If somebody doesn't come, I just walked an hour and a half from the shul to this shul. But if there's no tent, I'll walk to the Chabad house. It's in the Israeli backpacker part of town. My colleague Rabbi Wilhelm. If there isn't a minyan, I'll get there. They don't start early. Officially, it's 10, but these people, the backpackers roll in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and say they want a coffee, and they say good morning. They're here to relax, to chill out. I'll walk to Chabad house. If there's no minyan, we'll find a minyan. Anyway, we didn't have a tent. Shabbos Tshuva, Shabbos between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. I figure I start walking. And then I think to myself as I'm walking, it's not fair. I'm a young guy. The other people in shul, they're not going to walk another hour. An hour and 15 minutes to the next location. It's like a triangle. I have to go to a different area. They're not going to walk with me. They're just not going to have a minyan. I was sent here to make Yiddishkeit for these people. What am I going to do? He says, you know what? I'm going to look for a tent. As unlikely as it seems in streets of Bangkok, I'm going to look for a tent. And then I think, but I can't schlep a tent. What's my cutoff? My cutoff is really the central post office, which is about 15 minutes walk from the Shangri-La Hotel, where we were holding services of the Even Chen Sephardic Shul. Okay, walking in the street. And as I walk, I'm thinking, what's my inspiration? My inspiration is a story that we all know of Reb Leib Soros. It was a Jew who's called Reb Leib, the son of Sora, who was one of the students of the Maggid of Mezrich, Baal Shem Tov. And he was well known to always be traveling and helping Jews in need in the little villages, getting Jews out of prison. They weren't in prison then because they had, screamed their prayers too loud or made a minyan where you weren't allowed to make a minyan. It was an anti-Semitic environment back then, a couple 100 years ago in Eastern Europe. So Jews, would fall into hard times. They couldn't pay their rent and they would be thrown into jail. And Reb Leib would go and be involved in the mitzvah of getting people out of jail. So he comes to this town, and he sits right the day before Yom Kippur, and he asks, so is there a minyan here Yom Kippur? They say, you should have come last year. Last year we had a minyan. We always had a minyan, but somebody passed away in the town, and that left us with 9. And there's a guy who's a little more wealthy than most of us, and he had the money to be able to afford to go to the big city to afford the lodgings there. But none of us, we're all too poor to afford that. So we're left 8. You're number 9, but sorry, no 10th. If he would have known that guy, he would have stayed. So the Leib asked, tell me, perhaps there's somebody who's Jewish and you don't count him anymore. He's not involved. He's not. They said, actually, there is. There's somebody who many decades ago was very close with the Puditz, with the local squire, and he fell in love with the squire's daughter, and he married her, and he became a renegade. He became an apostate, a meshumid. He's not just not Jewish. He makes us trouble. He took over the squire's estates, and he's a troublemaker. But yes, he's a Jew. So Reb Leib said, please take me to him. And Reb Leib is taken to him. And the Jews, of course, get together for services in their little shul, even though there's no minyan, they get together, put on their kittel and talis. And right before Kol Nidre, Reb Leib walks in with this apostate. And he says, please bring a talis. And they start Kol Nidre. And after Kol Nidre, after the services in the evening, Reb Leib stays with this Jew. And they sit all night. In the morning, they come back. The townspeople come back and they see Reb Leib and this Jew are still in earnest conversation. They pray the whole day. And at the end of Ne'ilah, Reb Leib and the Jews stand in front of the holy ark, the open ark, which is open of the whole during the duration of the Ne'ilah service. And at the end of Ne'ilah, by Shema Yisrael, and the 7th cry of Hashem Hu Elokim, Hashem Hu Elokim, this apostate gives a scream, Hashem Hu Elokim, and he expires and he passes away. And his soul ascended, obviously, in a fiery teshuva up to heaven. Very, very much related to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who went up in a fiery, in what became one. Said about his passing that he became one, totally one with Hashem. So this story is going through my mind as I'm walking in the streets of Bangkok, thinking, I got to look for a Jew, and I'm thinking about this story, Reb Leib. And I start asking people, are you Jewish? Now, I have to tell you something. Once I grew up in Australia. We used to do the, excuse me, sir, are you Jewish? On the streets of Ackland Street, on the mitzvah tank in Melbourne. I became a yeshiva bach. I came to the United States. And then I stood in the streets of Manhattan. And I used to do the, excuse me, are you Jewish? And you have to come up with these one-liners when somebody says he is or he isn't. What are you going to tell him? Have a good day anyway. What are you giving out? Maybe I'm Jewish. Of course, we always knew the people who start asking questions, they're probably Jewish. They say, what for? Okay. And then Brighton Beach, when I came back from Russia after spending 3 months there, I went to Brighton Beach. That was easier. You could ask in Russian, Izviniti, pожалуйста, еврей. Okay, we did that stuff. We used to try and think as Bachim that you have a kind of a smell, a sniff, who's a Jew, who's not. Of course, it's not true, because but we build all kind of images in our mind. But once I moved to Thailand, I can tell you one thing. That joke about Chinese, Japanese, Goldberg, iceberg, the Titanic? I'm sure you heard the joke. I won't tell it to you. But all of a sudden, that joke meant a lot to me, because I could tell the difference between Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Taiwanese. I used to come to Los Angeles with my wife to visit my in-laws. There was a very, very, very wonderful Jew, the Bedel Weiss, big Baal Tzedakah. He gave a lot of charity. So I would, sometimes ask him to give us a donation to help our work. But he constantly would tell me, remind me again where you come from. From Taiwan. I said, no, not Taiwan, Thailand. No, Taiwan, Thailand. Zelbezach, same thing. Hello, Taiwan and Thailand is so different. It's like Japanese and Chinese is so different. It's a totally different thing. My grandfather, Alav Shalom, told me he was kicked out of camp in the Catskills in the 1940s, 1930s maybe. Because he went around and sang, every man is a man of honor if he is a Galicianer. And his teacher was a Polish Jew. And he was talking about Galicianer. I don't even know if people understand the joke anymore. And they kicked him out of camp. There was big politics in the 1920s about if you're a Galicianer or Polish. Who knows the difference today, where you came from? Hungarian, Galicianer, Polish, we're all already second, third generations out of that. So for me, anybody European looks Jewish. I'm asking these people, are you Jewish? They're giving me these looks. This guy's a German. This guy's a European, another kind of European. Anyway, it doesn't work for me here anymore. The difference between trying to, but I'm thinking of these 8 Jews back there, and I'm the 9th, and then And finally, when I get to, remember, I have the cutoff place, the post office. So I get to the post office. Just before the post office, I see a guy who looks like a Caucasian, an American. I see him thinking to cross the street, not cross the street. And I say, excuse me, sir, before he crosses the street, are you Jewish? He looks at me and he says, what for? I said, okay, I got my guy with a New York accent. And I say, well, we're 8 Jews here, and we need a minyan. It's just 10 minutes down the block. Back. He says, no, I'm busy. I have an appointment. I said, look, from all the 10 million people in Bangkok right now, it's a city with about 10, 11 million. All the 10 million people in Bangkok, you're the only person that can really help me. Because, how many Jews do you think there are here? And we need a 10th. And he says, okay. We start walking back, and he tells me, Rabbi, I'm a bad Jew. I've heard this before. People that say they're a bad Jew. He says he's trying to impress upon me how bad a Jew he says. I belong to the sidewalk congregation of the Reformed Temple somewhere in Long Island. I said, okay, what does that mean? He says, well, my wife goes. We belong to the Reformed Temple. My wife goes in, and I hang out with my buddies on the sidewalk. I don't even go in. I'm not a temple guy. I'm not a synagogue guy. Okay. Then he tells me this still doesn't fit the story I'm thinking about. He's not an apostate. God forbid, he takes his wife to the temple. But then he tells me, he says, Rabbi, I'm going to be having a very long Yom Kippur this year. Okay, this is Shabbos Shuvah. This is 3 days before Yom Kippur. And I think I understand what he means, but I don't want to understand. And he starts to explain to me. He says, because Rabbi, Wednesday morning, Yom Kippur, he says, I'm going to be leaving on the Northwest flight that leaves 6 o'clock in the morning, Yom Kippur morning. You land back in Tokyo at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You take off from Tokyo 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You travel the whole night, and you land back at 10 o'clock in the morning in New York, and it's still Yom Kippur. It's Yom Kippur morning because of the time differences. He says, I'm going to have a very long Yom Kippur this year. He's kind of trying to impress upon me that he's really that renegade guy. Even Yom Kippur, I said, look, okay, whatever, look. Anyway, we come to the shul, and one of the guys has gone. I says, oy vey. What am I going to do now? So I sent somebody to call the guy. Now I said, look, I got to, I don't want to say the word kill time is a horrible word. I have to fill the time now. I brought a guy here. We don't have a minyan. We need another few minutes till they go and call the time. So I'm going to say my Shabbos Shuvah speech right now. I'll give a speech. Anyway, I tell the story. My thoughts are confused. So I tell the story of I just told you, Rabbi Sodis, the 10th Jew, and by Yom Kippur expires, and I'm thinking to myself, I hope this guy doesn't correlate and think he's the 10th guy and he's going to pass away at the end of the service or something like that. Okay. Anyway, tell the story. The 10th guy comes. We take out the Torah. We're up to Torah reading. We take the Torah. We start reading the Torah. And in middle of Torah reading, I promised this guy's going to be 10, 15 minutes. We're already half hour into it because we had to wait till the other guy came. Middle of Torah reading, somebody who never shows up to shul, a French guy, Alan with very pointed French shoes. Alan walks in. I never seen him in shul, not before, not after. Okay, I walk over to this guy, this American, this 10th, and I say, by the way, I'd love it if you stay, but we have a 10th, another 10th. If you need to go, you can go. He says, no, I'll stay. So he stays till the end of the service, and this is pre-email days. He had told me he's staying in the Holiday Inn. So after Shabbos, I write him an email. Not email, I write him a fax. I print out a fax, and I send it to attention of him in Holiday Inn. And this way he has my details. He wants to be in touch. I says, we really have a nice Yom Kippur service. It's, it's open to all kinds of people. It's, like the traditional Chabad Yom Kippur service, parts in English and explanatory and very welcoming. It's a joyous service, as we said. So if you want, you don't need to be a member or anything. Just come in. Anyway, I didn't hear from him. A few weeks later, I get a letter in the mail. Those days, anyone remember the days of snail mail where you get a letter nicely typed. He has some kind of a jewelry store or something somewhere in Long Island. He says, "Dear Rabbi, I must admit, first of all, I was scared when you stopped me on the street. I was sure you had a mitzvah tank hanging around the corner. You're going to haul me in, like the guys do in New York. It's Shabbos. What kind of a mitzvah? Okay." And I'll be honest. I'll be careful next time not to walk on that part of the road in case you pull me in again. But I must be honest, I really enjoyed the service. And here's $100 to help support your good work. And this guy, he joined I had him on my mailing list. And a few years later, he writes me back a note and he says, I didn't hear from him much. And I don't know why. I think this is still pre-communication day. So it wasn't in my mind that, you build a contact with him even from the long distance. He was in America. And he sends me a few years later, he says, I'm still careful not to be in that place on Saturday, just in case you'll hold me in. He sends me another check and he says, I want you to know, my wife and I joined the Orthodox community and I actually do go to synagogue now. He didn't make any connection, but, says, kind of telling me he's not that guy he was describing who he is, this renegade Jew who stands on the sidewalk and has long Yom Kippur. Oh, this is a story that happened many, many years ago, but it stays in my memory that you never know where you're going to meet a Jew. In Long Island, he was in Long Island, but he had to come to Thailand to meet a Jew that the Rebbe sent to Thailand for that purpose. Because what's the concept of a Rebbe? The concept of the Rebbe is most aptly described as the concept of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu was a shepherd. How was Moshe chosen? The whole way Moshe Rabbeinu was chosen was because the sheep ran away from the herd. He was a shepherd. And he ran after that little sheep. And he said, if I would have known, he wanted water. If I would have known you're thirsty, I would have made sure to give you water. And so Am Yisrael, the people of Israel, is the leadership of the people of Israel is like shepherding the flock. And in shepherding the flock, you have to take care of the collective, and you also have to take care of each and every individual. And that's really the signature approach of the Rebbe, is not to start from the community and go to the individual, but to start from the individual and to see the community that's built out of the individuals, and to go to each and every individual. And the heart of all of our work anywhere in the world and anything that we do, and I know that Chabad of Merrick has a very diverse range of programs. I went onto the website to see a little bit, and there's a lot of fascinating, wonderful things. Every Chabad house has a different kind of a feel to it in some sense. And I was in one of my areas of responsibility is India, and actually Rabbi Holtzberg was tragically murdered. Shemin Kandome of blessed memory. Rabbi Holtzberg was a yeshiva bacher that helped us a couple of years before he went to India, and I still remember till today on the streets of Crown Heights. He came to me and he said, I heard you're looking to send somebody to Chabad in Mumbai. What do you think about my wife and I? And I hadn't thought about him, but the moment he suggested, I said, you're the perfect guy, and he was. And they were a special couple. They were actually, couples are couples. Everybody has their different dynamics. He and his wife are actually inseparable, different than most other couples I had seen. And God took them actually together in the same terrorist attack, and inseparable in life, and it turns out inseparable in passing. But in the immediate aftermath of that of that horrible attack, which just by the way, when he had wanted to buy that building, which was in itself a miracle because he was only there 2-3 years into his mission. You don't buy buildings after 2-3 years. This never happens. You don't have enough of a base. You don't have enough. So I asked him, why do you want to buy? He says, nobody wants to rent to me. I have to buy. That was his way of thinking. Nobody rents. I have to buy. So it was a big purchase. And Chabad headquarters asked me to go and see the building just before he buys it, just for another pair of eyes to see it. When I went and saw it, I said, one thing I thought to myself is no terrorist will ever find this place. It's in such a back place. And I was thinking of security then about car bombs, because we had all known that in Argentina, God forbid, there had been a car bomb outside the Jewish center. So that was our scope of thinking about security back then. And then when they called me and says, "Did you hear about the attack?" I said, "What attack? Nobody could find that place." Anyway, unfortunately, it was singled out for an attack. And right after the attack, we had to fly down there and start to piece together the pieces. And today, thank God, the building is rebuilt, and there's a very thriving, may he live and be well, very vibrant Chabad couple there, family there, so on. But in the first Shabbos there, I spent 1 or 2 Shabbos there. We're going around the table, and everybody who still knew Rabbi and Mr. Holzberg very well. We're all talking about their specialty and their greatness and so on. And it was really, really very heartwarming. And I spoke there, and I said, you know, what I've observed from visiting various Chabads around the world is that there's a unique love for the Rabbi and Rebbitzin and family of the Shluchim. Very, very, thank God, may Hashem bless us all to live and be well. So there shouldn't be any eulogies, but there's a very special attachment. There's something very special, and we're all so different. Shluchim are all so different. You can't say it has anything to do with any particular personality type. You have some that are more studious. You have some that are more gregarious. You have some of them more outgoing. Some that are more ingoing. Some of them are more this. Some that are more that. Red beards, black beards, white beards, all kinds. Some Rebbitzins are better cooks, some are better organizers, some kids are more rowdy, everyone's different. So I pointed at the picture of the Rebbe, who was there in Mumbai on the wall, and I said, really, we're all being sent by the Rebbe, leader of our generation, and we're all trying to express, all empowered by him, and all trying to mimic the one central concept that we all absorbed and try to absorb from him, and that is Ahavas Yisrael, loving our fellow. When you have Ahavas Yisrael, that's really the heart of every single thing we do and every single shliach that goes out. Because at the moment, if a shliach's not available to take a call when somebody's in need, if it's outside office hours, then you know there's got to be something that's an imposter. It's not a real emissary of the Rebbe. I mean, I can say this with full confidence, because what's the heart of going, doesn't matter, to Merrick or to Bangkok or to or anywhere in the world, or any program that we do, the heart of it all is the theme of Lag BaOmer, which is Ahavas Yisrael, the love of our fellow. And that is the reason we put on tefillin on Jews, because the same reason you offer a cup of hot soup if you see somebody cold. It's the same. It's the motivation for all the campaigns that the Rebbe inaugurated as being the gateway mitzvahs for our generation, to make sure that the Jews should be able to activate their Yiddishkeit. It's all motivated by one central mitzvah, which the Rebbe campaigned very strongly, most strongly about, Ahavas Yisrael, about loving each other. When you love, there are no boundaries. Then you're there for somebody else. Then you find what is needed. What kind of program is needed? I'll tell you, when I came here, the one condition the community said, when they asked Chabad to send somebody here, they didn't want to know how learned he was. They wanted to know one thing: make sure he knows how to shecht. We need a shochet for chickens as well. There's no kosher food here. So I didn't know how to be a shochet, but promptly I was enrolled in the shechita program. It took me a couple of months. Chickens is not the hardest thing in the world to learn. And I became a shochet. Ever since, I mean, I can tell you, in 2018, we shechted 75,000 kilos of chicken. I don't do it anymore. We bring in a team. Except that now with the coronavirus, you couldn't bring in teams because there's you can't travel from Israel and there's a thing. So I was drafted again before a few weeks before Pesach to go and shecht. I haven't shechted for ages. I still remember how to do it. 3,000 chickens, and my hands till today, they have not recovered from the trauma of handling so many chickens and the physical labor of it. Mamish, till today, I still haven't recovered. But that was very important at that time for the community. And every place, you do what you have to. This place needs a mikveh, you build a mikveh. This place needs a shul. This place has a shul, so you don't build a shul. This place, restaurant. We have, I don't know how many Chabad houses have. Every Chabad house we have has a kosher restaurant, a meat restaurant. Recently, we opened a new brand called J Cafe. The J Cafe is milchik. So now we have pizza. Now we have cheesecake. We managed to start importing stuff from Israel. We have a big Israeli contingent. So actually, the J Cafe has become the main heart of the Jewish community of Thailand.
Rabbi Cantor, you want to come to Merrick? We can use a restaurant in Merrick here. That's what Avram did. What did Avram do? Our forefather gave food out.
Exactly. Exactly. But the thing is, in most other places, a J Cafe is a business. When we started it, I said, guys, help support it. Make sure to come and buy. I'm not worried if it's going to be profitable or not. It doesn't make a difference. For us, it's a program. It turned out to be, so every place. Well, what motivates it, of course, so it's J Cafe, and in small it says by Chabad. What motivates it is obviously, so you got to see what's needed, and that's what we have to do. So to just share, I'm going to share another place where we saw very early on in our work what the Rebbe has taught us. The Rebbe taught us a fantastic lesson, that even when you want to bring Jews closer to Yiddishkeit, becoming closer by becoming simply doing materialistic, nice things and camaraderie things with fellow Jews always brings them also closer to Yiddishkeit. That's just the rule. It's an unbelievable thing. So we had a fascinating story here in the very beginning of our work, when Rabbi Wilhelm, my colleague, who's well known, he's well known in Israel as the father of the backpackers almost, because he was the first one that did this work. So when a backpacker walked in, he was limping. So he asked him, "What's the story with your foot?" So he said, no, don't worry. I just did a 3-week Vipassana meditation session. The guy with long hair, this typical Israeli long hair and all the works, earrings and so on. So he said, but I'm going to Israel soon. Don't worry about it. So Rabbi Wilhelm said, no. It doesn't look good. You're limping. I want to check it out. So he schlepped him to a doctor. The doctor says, you're lucky you came now because you had sat so long in one location. They sit in the meditation pose that you had endangered the circulation to one of your toes. You may have lost the use of a toe. You could have become gangrene, would have to cut it off, but you'll be okay. This young man was so touched. He asked Rabbi Wilhelm, why did you care? The meditation teacher wasn't worried about it. My friends weren't worried about it. Why were you so worried? He says, because the Lubavitcher Rebbe sent me to love Jews and to care for Jews here, physically, spiritually, whatever way possible. I saw a fellow Jew limping. I said, I couldn't just let it go like that. I wanted to make sure you get treatment, you take care of it. Anyway, that guy went off to Israel, so touched. He went to yeshiva in Israel, and he himself became a shliach. Very, very fascinating and beautiful story. Always reminds us that it all goes together. Ahavat Yisrael, love a fellow Jew, doing a favor physically is also doing a favor spiritually. It all just meshes together totally and seamlessly. We should never forget that. And we do not never forget that. We have to always be available for each other to help each other in whatever way possible. So, l'chaim to you all.
L'chaim, good morning. Good morning. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Rabbi Cantor is going to be the first one to put on tefillin on Lag Bomer.
Yeah, that's good.
We haven't put on tefillin yet for Lag Bomer.
No, I haven't put on tefillin yet. This is my
And we haven't put on tefillin yet. None of us have.
You haven't put on tefillin, but I also haven't.
You're the first one. You'll put on tefillin. You'll have to keep us all in mind.
Yeah.
Lag Bomer starts today, and it goes through the entire day tomorrow.
I'll give you a little story about tefillin in the it's a cute story in the streets of Bangkok. Earliest years, I was going to buy diapers for our first child who was born yet before we came. She was 3 months old when we moved there. For some reason, I remember we went to buy diapers then in Central Department Store. And as I'm coming out waiting for a taxi or something, I see an old foreign man, American man, and breathing very, very heavily. And this guy, I asked him, hi, excuse me, sir, are you Jewish? He said, I used to be. Okay, that's interesting. He tells me he's breathing very heavy. He says, I grew up, I was born Jewish. I never even had a bar mitzvah. said, okay, wow.
What's the time?
I said, you know what a Lubavitcher says if you hear somebody didn't have a bar mitzvah? So it's daylight hours. I said, well, we can do it right here, right now. I have my tefillin with me. That's one thing we try and do is always have our tefillin with us. So I have it here in my bag. So we're having a little thing. He said he's sick with emphysema and with cancer and with all kinds of sicknesses, and he's staying someplace down the block. And I tell the story. It's a bittersweet story for me. And I put on film with him right there, and he's breathing. He said, "I can't believe it. Before I die, having a bar mitzvah. I can't believe it. Before I die, having a bar mitzvah." Now the silly sausage that I am, I gave the guy my card, but I was inexperienced, I guess, and I didn't take his details of where he was staying. Until today, when people ask me my biggest regret of my time here, my mind goes immediately back to that Jew, that old sick Jew that I met, and somehow I never had the foresight. I thought he would contact me, but you don't leave. That's not the way to go. I didn't have the foresight. For whatever reason, maybe I was still feeling like a rookie, or I don't know what it was, but anyway, I missed out on that guy. So I'm assuming he passed away. I don't know what happened. He wasn't in touch with his children. He was in a fight with his children. At any rate, that's the story of tefillin. Just another more joyous story of tefillin. Just around that same time I was shopping, my wife and I met overheard some Israelis in a department store trying to give the teller dollars. And I walked over and I said, it's a department store. You can't bargain. You can't pay dollars. You have to pay Thai baht. They're a very proud nationalistic country. You can't. Could you go into America and pay in yen in Macy's? Of course not. You can't go to a Macy's-like store in Bangkok and expect to pay dollars. You got to pay the local currency. So one of them looks at me and in a very irate, secular Israeli style, starts screaming at me, "Ma atem osim po? What are you guys doing here? Like these ultra-Orthodox, you're here too?" Like, this is like 25 years ago. Chabad wasn't known to be in Thailand yet. Like this is our territory. So his friend is obviously a little bit more traditional, looks at him, he says, "Ma, why are you harassing the guy? What do you want?" Anyway, I see an angle here. You got to know I asked this guy who's sticking up for me, "Tagid li, Yehudi yakar, maybe you want to put on tefillin?" And the other guy starts screaming, "Mata mishugai, middle of the store, you're going to put on tefillin?" So there's already an indignance there. And the other guy says, "Ken, tefillin, why not?" I'm sorry, I honed in on an opportunity. I put on tefillin with a guy. So you got to we have to be seichers. We got to be like handlers. You got to figure out when there's an opportunity. One of the opportunities, I see somebody sent me a note that he was part of a committee in New York City to raise money for the tsunami. He met at Mendy's to present with a check. I remember that. There was a group of people that raised money. That was one of the very, very special times. It was a tragic time, but it was a special time in terms of the way we reacted. We were able to help many, many thousands of Thai people after the tsunami by setting up programs to help the local people. And the Queen of the Princess of Thailand actually came and honored us at an event a year later called the Tsunami Yizkar. And it was very, very, very special time. And what we were trying to point out is another one of the aspects of the Rebbe's instructions to us, and that is to spread morality in the entire world. This, by the way, is a unique time, the time of the corona, where the world is open to hearing more. Everybody feels a little bit smaller, a little littler. And we have to make sure to also have a message to the world of which the tsunami to Thailand, we were able to get the message out that the reaction to distress needs to be compassion. It's one of the 7 universal laws, the 7 mitzvahs of Noach, that Hashem tells us to be universally responsible for each other, and be compassionate to each other, laws of justice and so on. At any rate, so many, many colorful events, but I'm sure Rabbi Kramer has his own stories of life in Merrick that are just as colorful in their own way. But each place has its spice, and Thailand is definitely a very spicy place. Quite literally, the streets are very pungent. You smell all kinds of smells when you first get off the plane. We get used to it. I learned not to breathe through my nose on the streets very early on, not to smell the smells. And actually, after a little while, we went to Singapore. And my wife says, "I don't like Singapore." We used to complain about the bustle and hustle and hecticness of Thailand, unpredictability of Thailand. And in Singapore, we tried to stop a taxi, not at the place of a taxi stand, and people started harassing us. Very orderly Singapore. And finally, we realized that there's a spontaneity in Thailand that we got used to. And there's something very powerful to be learned from the spontaneity. I think a lot of people get attracted to the exoticism of Thailand. One of the things is the spontaneity. Just to prove this concept, there's a kids zone here, like a kids play group, play area, Kidzania or something, which all over the world you have to have bookings in advance. My wife takes the camp there, and she asked them, "We make bookings." They say, "No, we don't take bookings in Thailand. We used to have a policy of bookings, and we almost went bankrupt." Thailand is different. All other countries, you can insist on bookings and it works. There's something spontaneous about Thailand. Pre-bookings doesn't work. So we live in a life in a spontaneity, and we try and use that spontaneity in the service of Hashem. L'chaim to you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. And an extra treat that you shared a story with me on my grandfather, Rabbi Chadakov. So that was a nice treat. L'chaim, have an inspiring Shachris on Lag B'Omer.
Thank you very much.
Well,
all the best.
You already counted the Omer last night. So we are going to count the Omer, a special mitzvah that we have now, counting the days leading up to Shavuot. Then we will have a 2-minute video of a Lag B'Omer parade. Every year, of many years, on Lag B'Omer, there used to be a parade for the thousands of children, Jewish children. It was a very exciting time. We would look forward to the parade for several years. It wasn't every year, it was every couple of years. And my Mendel prepared a 2-minute video, short video of the parade. And then we will open it up to the public, starting with my dear parents, and we'll move on from there. So please join me reciting today's day. Today, I'm going to make a bracha. You could join me making the blessing, or you could just join me by saying Amen after the blessing. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfiras ha'omer hayom shleisha u'shleishim yom shehem arba shavuos v'chamisha yamim l'omer. Today is the 33rd day, which is 4 weeks and 5 days of the Omer. So, ready. Okay, we are ready for the video. And while my son is preparing the video, I want to thank my son Mendel for all the technology here. And of course, he gets it from my wife Khani. Doesn't get it from me.
You're pretty good too.
The 12 Pesukim.
Torah, Siva, Lanu, Moshe, Marasha, Kayla, Yaakov.
A klein kind mishenafschel ledabe lernt verstehen mit der Eises von der Teiro. Und noch vor dem und gleich wird geboren, hängt man auf in sein Schädel, Psukim von Teiro.
Let's start the parade.
talk from the boys that are having upsharn. They're cutting the hair on their third birthday, just like my hair was cut on my third birthday in Eretz Yisrael. Okay, we're about to unmute everybody, and we could all continue the Farbrengen discussions with one another. I want to take the opportunity to invite everybody to a parade that we're having. We're having a car parade with the proper social distancing, and we're doing it in honor of Lag BaOmer and honor of the first responders that have been amazing. We're going to have the firemen there with the fire truck, and police are going to be there, and nurses and doctors are all going to be there, and we're going to drive around Merrick-Bellmore and cheer them on. So we're going to have a show. We're going to have a juggling show and a DJ and a special float that some yeshiva students have put together. It's very special, so please check out the route. Either join us in your car or stand outside and along the route and cheer on the first responders. Thank you so much for joining us. We're now going to unmute everybody, and we're going to start with my dear parents.
Wait.
Saying something.
Wait, before that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Happy birthday to Tati. What's a birthday without a birthday cake?
To Tati. Happy birthday to Tati. Happy birthday to you.
How old are you supposed to sing how old are you now? Okay, so
Thank
what's
you.
a
I'm very,
birthday without a birthday cake?
I'm very,
It's better to make a homemade than to buy one. These days, everyone's baking. So
thank you, Khani.
yeah.
It's
While
everything.
we're talking about baking, I just want to give a little commercial. For those of you who are stuck in the kitchen for way too long, this Thursday, you'll get a flyer about it after Lag BaOmer. I don't want to bombard you with too much. We're going to be having 8 Rebbitzins, that's 8, from across Long Island that are going to be doing Shabbat in 1 hour. That means cooking for Shabbat in 1 hour. So you'll be able to tune in live on YouTube or on Zoom again. And I'm going to be showing how to do one recipe, and the other 7 will be showcasing different parts of the meal. So if you're interested in getting some exciting recipes for Shabbat, make sure you tune in. Back to you.
Thank you. It's only with my dear family behind me that we're able to do what we do for the community. And of course, all our good friends in the community that really help us out with Rabbi Cantor was speaking about being there for other people. We truly try to help anybody, especially now during Corona, try to help anybody in need. And it's thanks really to our wonderful friends that are all joining us right now that we're able to contribute to the community. You help us to help help others, and together we keep on helping others. And let me tell you, I want to pray to Hashem that we should always have the energy to help out others. It's always better to be there for others than to need help. But even those who need help should never be ashamed and should always give us a call. And hopefully with Hashem's help, and again, together with my beautiful family, we'll always try to be there for anybody in need. They help out in every detail in Hebrew school, with the Zoom, with setting up this Farbrengen. Thank you, Kindlach. We have a lot of nachas from the Kindlach, and I hope all of you should have a lot of nachas from your beautiful children in Kindlach. Amen. So now, we'll take a moment to hear my parents. We'll start off with my parents giving us a wish.
L'chaim, Shimon. I don't know if Rabbi Cantor had this in mind.
1 second. Try to highlight baby.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if Rabbi Cantor had this in mind, but I know it's always special to you when you hear a story about Zaidi. You always, from your young years yet, you always chose him to be your Rab. When the Rebbe spoke that everybody should have a mentor, you chose Zaidi to be your mentor. And to many people's surprise, Zaidi accepted it. And for many, many years, he was teaching you and telling you and guiding you. And that helped you very much to be what you are today, to be able to help so many people in so many ways. And it's really, really very nice. I remember the night of your bar mitzvah, there was a sikha and the Rebbe spoke in his house about Lag Baimer. And one of the things that the Rebbe spoke about was how Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai wanted, his goal and his wish all his life was to get close to Hashem. And the Rebbe said that that's what he did and that's what he succeeded in doing. And there's a lesson in that for everybody, that we should all strive to become close to Hashem. And everybody could do it because Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was in the level of Moshe Rabbeinu in his generation. And Baruch Hashem, you are connected to the Moshe Rabbeinu of our generation, which is the Rebbe. By being a shliach, you are an extension of the Rebbe in Merrick. And not only are you getting close to Hashem, but you're bringing other people as well. And that's one of the things we could learn, like you mentioned before, from unfortunate from this disease that's going around, how you could affect so many people in so many ways in not a good way. How much more so we could affect people in a good way by connecting people to Moshe Rabbeinu of our generation and getting them involved in your work. And you get a few people involved and they get more and more people involved. And this way we could get the whole of Merrick. And with all the shluchim, we could get everybody involved in doing what the Rebbe wants. And eventually we'll be zeicha to this galus of Mashiach Tzidkenu B'Karev Mamish, L'chaim, L'chaim. You, together with Chani and your lovely children, should be successful in doing your share where you are, around your area. And you should be matzliach in that for many, many years to come. And we should be zeicha to the Gula Amitis Vashlema B'Karev Mamish. L'chaim, L'chaim. And again, lots of success in all your work. I don't want to say anything. Did they hear me or not? I don't hear you. I don't know if you're saying anything. Looks like you're saying, but I can't hear you.
Unmute.
Yeah, okay. Anybody who speaks, please unmute yourself.
Was I unmuted or?
Ma, you want to say something?
Was I speaking?
Yeah, we heard you.
Okay.
Okay, Zaidi and Bobby, my dear Shver and Shviger, Haushtam, please unmute yourself and join us.
Well, my wife, my dear wife, went to take care of the makeup. She didn't know that everything is in progress already, but she'll be there soon and participate. Shimon, the first thing is Mazel Tov. Thank God you're getting younger every day, and we are having our your birthday, and we are celebrating it here. And the people around here, which are joining us in Zoom, I'm not sure if they know why Shimon is called Shimon. Some of us know, and some of them don't. Today is Lag BaOmer, 3 days in the Omer, and today is the passing day of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, one of the greatest sages that the Jewish history ever had. He wrote the Zohar, and he wrote many, many important Jewish concepts. Shimon was born in the same day that he passed away, not the same day, many, many years later. But it's never too late to be named after Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. That's why his name is Shimon. Rabbi Shimon, when he was alive, the world was, like in the time of King Solomon, the whole world was in peace and in unity. And I see that Shimon is going in his ways, and he's also trying to achieve peace in unity between all the people of Belmore. And I'm sorry, not only Merrick, but also Belmore. So he's trying to bring all the people together. But Shimon, you should know that your job of bringing people together is not only in Merrick and in Belmore. You have to do it all over the world. You have to unite all the people together. This is going to happen in the coming of Mashiach, which is going to be very soon, hopefully. And then we'll all together go back to Eretz Yisrael, and we'll live happily ever after. And the same thing, Shimon, for you. You should live happily ever after, and you should have a good and beautiful life. And we should have nachas on you. The Rebbe should have nachas on you, and the whole Merrick-Bellmore should have nachas on you. Keep up your good work. We sit here and enjoy. We have nachas. We say, children are a headache. Grandchildren are nachas. So Baruch Hashem will bring us plenty of nachas, and we should have continue to have much nachas. And thank you very much for participating, all of you. Ikem.
Thank you.
L'chaim.
Ask Cynthia.
Cynthia, do you want to unmute yourself?
What do you say?
Cynthia. Yeah.
We're asking someone else to. Ma, you want to say something before?
She's getting ready.
Okay, fine. So we'll go on to the next. Cynthia, go for it.
Well, it was a lovely evening.
Keep
Thank
it
you
short.
so much for including us. And by the way, and Baldwin, besides Merrick-Bellmore,
Right.
and very, very happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
And
Thanks.
many more.
Thanks for joining us from Baldwin.
Okay.
Fred, our tefillin.
Oh, he was on, but now he's not.
Mark.
Mark, you want to unmute yourself?
My
Mark
chavrusa.
Solomon.
One of my chavrusas.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are
Happy
you?
birthday. You know, I had a choice between attending your birthday party or listening to a Gemara share.
Oh, wow.
And you know how much I enjoy Gemara shares. Yet I came to honor you because you're a good guy. So happy birthday, and
I'm honored.
many more.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Rachel.
Rachel, you want to say hello? You can unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself on the bottom left.
You have
Rachel,
to,
we don't hear you.
Rachel, you have to unmute yourself. Oh.
Nadine?
Okay. You hear me now?
Yes.
I was gonna find Alicia. She does everything for me. I just so happy to see you and your family, and you, especially you, Hani, seeing you well and smiling, and happy birthday, and lots of nachas and keichas, and wherever God can give all of us. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us, Rachel.
For having this.
Hopefully very soon we'll be able to open up again the preschool.
Right.
And very, very soon, as soon as we get the okay from up above.
Right.
And looking forward to having you back. Rachel,
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Bye.
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 Nadine and Marty.
Yes.
You just unmuted.
Oh, Nadine, you have to unmute yourself. I'll unmute you. Okay, I got it. Okay, good.
Okay, it was off. We just want to wish you a very happy birthday. We appreciate everything you do. You so well deserve this celebration, Hani. You made him a beautiful party. You think of everything, and it's a pleasure to know you both and the whole family. And in this time of need, so many people have problems with the coronavirus. I know in the community you have really stepped up and helped so many people. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your kind words. Hashem bless all of us. We should be able to deal with other things, work with other things, and not the coronavirus. The coronavirus should be eliminated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, David.
David Gakstein. Here, I'm going to unmute you.
How are you, Rabbi? Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You know, I was doing L'chaim the whole time. I was sipping the whole time.
I'll join you.
Wait, where's Levi? What's with this?
And Jake and Richard were here and they left.
Wow. Tell them I say hello, my students, my former students. And tell them I wish them well.
You gotta look for them. They're so big, you're not even going to recognize them.
Please give them over my best. I wish them well.
Yeah.
Hi, Rabbi.
Let me put on the light.
Hello.
Nice
to see you.
Hi.
We miss you. Come over. Once you're allowed to.
He has the beard. He has the Corona beard and everything.
Wow. Amazing.
Wow.
Okay, 2 seconds. 2 seconds. I'm gonna go see Richard. I'm gonna get you Richard to see how big Richard is. They were there earlier. Rich.
Yes.
Say happy birthday to Rabbi Kramer.
I already said that.
I know he hasn't seen.
Hey, happy birthday.
Look how big Richard is. Oh, you mute.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Wow, nice to see you so big. Looking forward, once everything opens, I hope to see you. Come over to visit.
See you too.
Everybody has a beard. Look at them.
God bless all of you.
Thank you, Rabbi. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, you're up next. Is that Barry? No. Sorry.
Go ahead.
1 second. I'm unmuting. What's your?
Mute.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead, L'chaim.
You want to say something?
Thank you for including us in your simcha. You're amazing. The Kramers are amazing. You're a tremendous asset to the community. And the more we get to know you, the more amazing you are to us. So happy birthday to you, Rabbi Kramer. And thank you, Chani, for making such a beautiful party.
Thank you, Michael and Rachel.
It's very important. It's very nice when friends join us, and thanks for joining us. Shver, thank you for your beautiful words earlier. Firma with a baby.
Wow. Firma, you want to say hello? I'm going to unmute you. Hi.
Hi, happy birthday. So nice to see you. Really miss working in your place because you do so much for the community. Yeah, you should continue to be even more successful and have even more nachas from your children and everything you need.
Amen. Firma was our first Hebrew school teacher when we did a beta version and we had about 8 or 10 children. And now, thank God, we have 130, and thanks to Firma's great founding of the Hebrew school. And Remy, her husband, he comes Rosh Hashanah to us. They both come, right? And he helps with the services. Please send our best regards. Please send best regards. There's shluchim now in Michigan, and we wish you best of luck.
And we're hoping that everything's going to be settled so we can have high holidays the way we like it.
Exactly.
Next.
Okay.
Just unmute.
Oh, we unmuted Tammy and
Kenny.
Kenny. Yeah.
No, I just wanted to say happy birthday. What a wonderful party. And I want to thank you for the great work that you do for the community. You're a real asset, Baruch Hashem. And the cake was delicious. Thank you for sending over that piece to me. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thanks for joining.
Okay. Now we're going to go to Sandra. Sandra? Wait, I can't see. I'm going to unmute you.
Yeah. Talk? Go ahead. Happy birthday, Rabbi. Admei Avesrim.
Amen.
Lots of joy, lots of nach. And thank you so much for inviting us to join. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to go to the Scalios. Lisa. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Nice to see the girls.
Well, Mariana was here a little while ago. But she got sleepy, so I had to bring her upstairs. Isabella's here. My mom is
We
here.
miss you in Hebrew school.
Yeah, the girls miss you, Rabbi. We all miss you, and Hani, and
Thank you. Hopefully
everybody.
soon. Hopefully very
And
soon.
we wish you lots of mazel, lots of nachas, and you're very, very special to us.
Amen.
Happy
Thank
birthday,
you.
Rabbi.
Thanks for joining. It's very special that you girls join.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having us.
It's our pleasure, our joy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cookie, one of our teachers,
Hi,
our pre-K
Cookie. We're gonna
teacher.
unmute you.
Hi,
You're up.
Rabbi. Happy birthday! A wonderful celebration, and I'm so pleased at what Chabad does for our community. I hear wonderful, wonderful things, and I see for myself. And I love being part of Chabad. And thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining. Mark, my chavrusa.
I'm gonna unmute you. Okay, Mark, you're unmuted.
I'm unmuted.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. I have my son Scott next to me. Say hello.
Hi,
Hi, Scott.
I want to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you for so much for all you do for the community. And a very special thank you from me personally for everything you've done for me and my family, which is a hell of a lot. And also thank you so much for being
each other.
Thank you so much for being my teacher.
Thank you. We're chavrusas. We're my learning partner. Now we learn over Zoom. Hopefully soon we'll be able to learn in person again, very soon.
Man.
Looking forward.
All the best everywhere.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Hannah, my sister Hannah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. Have a very happy year. Continued hatzlacha on all your amazing work. And giving mommy and Tati and the whole family a lot of nachas.
Amen.
And continued nachas from all your kids. You're doing an amazing job raising them. My kids really miss coming to help you.
Okay, hopefully soon. Very soon. Thanks for joining us. David, you're next. David, should be simchas. We should talk about simchas. We did a Zoom recently for David's David sitting Shiva. I'm glad that we're doing a Zoom now to celebrate simchas.
Amen. Happy birthday, Rabbi, to 120. And thank you to the Kramer family for the spiritual leadership, guidance, and really bringing the Jewish community together in our Belmore, Merrick-Bellmore-Wantagh area. It means a lot. And the Tefillin Club, the first Sunday of every month, is a joy to be a part of.
Thanks for joining in the Tefillin Club. David is one of our strong members, and Gary, who's going to be next. They joined the Tefillin Club. Anybody who hasn't joined it yet, got to check it out. It's very special. We have a good time together. We say l'chaim together. We don't say it on wine. Usually we say it on the scotch or apple vodka. But we have a good time together, and we also do the mitzvah of tefillin. So please join together. Okay, Gary, you're up next. Gary, my attorney, one of my attorneys.
Me to this high-tech birthday party. The fact that there's so many people here today is a testament to your ability to get everyone in the community and be a magnet to others. So I wanted to wish you happy birthday. Naches, all the best to you and the family, and wish you to stay healthy and safe so we can continue the community. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for sending over the video. I don't know if you saw it yet, but the Unity video is going viral.
You saw the Unity video? Whoever didn't see it has to check it out.
I haven't seen it yet. Okay, we'll do. Thank you.
What's just happening? Okay, now.
Marty?
No, next is, Marty and Tara. Yeah.
Marty and Tara?
You can unmute yourself, or I'll unmute you. Okay. Now we hear you.
Another one of my attorneys.
Good evening, Rabbi. Happy birthday. We
Thank you.
support you on your birthday. It's not from Thailand, but from India, a Kiddush cup from India in honor of you, Chani, the Rebbitzin, and the entire family for all you do for this community. As you know, Rabbi, I was on a Zoom meeting for another community organization earlier this evening, but wanted to spend some time with you on your special day. So happy birthday, happy Lag Bomer, and hopefully we'll actually be able to share something from this Kiddush Cup soon.
Amen.
Beautiful. Amen. Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Lorraine. Yeah.
Happy birthday. Sorry, losing my voice. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, happy birthday. Many more happy and healthy birthdays from the Aldermans. And thank you you've been very supportive, both you and Connie, through a very difficult time that we've had.
L'chaim, l'chaim. We should be there for each other on happy occasions, not on difficult times.
Amen.
You know what? That Lorraine, if you don't mind me taking a moment and say, I'm so happy that you all join me, because very often people come to Hashem, or people reach out to God, they reach out to the local Chabad when they're going through hard times. And Lorraine has been there. And hopefully, again, Lorraine, will only be good, and may God give you health and happiness.
Thank you. Amen.
Hindi, you're up.
Brachos should come true for all of us, because we really need a Yeshua right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You heard me. And Chani, we love you, and Rabbi Kramer, and I'm sorry, Mayor was in the other room, he was learning, so he's not feeling so good. So that's why he didn't. Yeah, hopefully he'll be okay. But thank you for being such good friends, and it's such a pleasure just having you in my life and in Mayor's life. And I don't know what we do without you. And you should just stay healthy and safe, and Hashem should give you many brachos, your family, you and Chani, and all of Klal Yisrael. We need a Yeshua. That's what we need right now. And hopefully it'll come soon. Thank you. Happy birthday.
Amen. In merit of the mikvah that Mayor is so involved in, recovery.
Can't hear you.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm frozen. Do you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
I said in honor of the mikvah, he's so involved in speedy recovery.
Amen. Thank you.
Alan, tomorrow at the parade, there's supposed to be special surprise. All the teachers of the Alan Tatiana Foreman Jewish Learning Center are marking their cars to welcome all the students. Yeah, Alan, go ahead.
You're breaking up, Rabbi, but if you can hear me, wave. Hello? Can you hear?
The computer that may work better.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. Rabbi, so first of all, Mazel Tov from all of the Foremans. And if you can hear me, I echo. Hello?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, I echo the sentiments of many of your birthday guests, wishing you Mazel and Nachas. The Foremans are very glad to be part of the community and your center and all of the wonderful things that you do for humanity. And I will tell you that if you ever decide to retire, the only thing I would consider is relocating to Thailand, because Rabbi Cantor is very enchanting and very engaging, and it was an amazing special guest you had tonight. So thank you for that treat.
Yes, we may end up in Thailand, but I'm absolutely not retiring.
Great, then I'm staying in Belmore.
Or don't go anywhere. You're a pillar of the community.
L'chaim.
The parade tomorrow. Tomorrow, the parade, we're going to have the teachers of the town Learning Center join us on the parade.
To go.
Dinah?
Happy birthday.
Here you go. Wait, you muted. We can't hear you. 1 second. Mute. Okay.
Okay? No,
Yeah, yeah.
no, I'm on. Unmute.
Unmute.
Hello, Rabbi?
I hear you. I hear you, Dinah.
Hi, a very, very happy, healthy birthday. Be safe. This was beautiful. This was really a beautiful birthday. Honey, can you plan my birthday? It's in October.
Okay, we'll work on it.
Okay, hopefully we'll be back in school and you can work on my birthday. Rabbi, a happy and a healthy birthday. All the best to you and your family. It was really a very nice party.
Thank you. Thanks for joining. It
You're
means a
welcome.
lot to me that you joined, and hopefully soon we'll be able to start school again. Live school. We have school through Zoom, but hopefully soon we'll see each other in person.
I hope so. I'll see you at the parade tomorrow.
Excellent.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Oops. Where'd everybody go here? Okay. Tamira, you're next.
Only been a few short months, even though it seems like it's been forever. But joining your school was one of the best decisions of my life. And,
I'm so happy to hear that.
And I'm so happy to be part of the family.
Thank you. Thanks for joining. And
I was in
very
school
soon.
today and there were no children there. And I said, this has to stop because we need kids. It was too empty.
Just a little plug here. Tamira and Dinah and Cookie are all part of the Alan Tatiana Foreman Jewish Learning Center, which Rachel and anybody else that I missed that I can't see on this one screen. Thank you so much. It's really you that's making the school so special. It's real. I sit in the back office, but you're in the front.
It's a very special place.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thanks. Where's Lois?
Right here. Okay,
Lois,
you're up
one of
next.
our other teachers.
Happy birthday. This was so, first of all, I just want to also say that when my school closed and I didn't know what I was going to do, I think that it was just a blessing that Hani called me and we came in and I joined your family and I just love it there and I love everybody I work with. And it's a wonderful, wonderful, happy place to be. And I'm very blessed to be a part of it. And wishing you a very happy birthday. And I even made a sign, a special sign. And I plan on seeing everybody at the parade tomorrow. Looking forward to it. And save some cake. Or make another one.
Thank you, Lois. We really miss.
But this
We
was
really
wonderful.
miss the children. We miss the teachers. We miss everybody. Hopefully soon we'll be able to get back together.
Absolutely. I'm sure it's going to happen soon. So happy birthday, happy and healthy. And I'm looking forward to getting out in the fresh air, even if it's in the car. We'll all see each other and wave, and it'll be wonderful.
Thank
Cheers
you.
to that.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay. Sarah and Pinchas. You're up next.
Pincus had to just rest a little bit, so he couldn't sit up this long, but I'm speaking for Pincus and myself. Yom Haledet Sameach, but I can't sing it. I'm not allowed to. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Thank you. Yes, we hear you.
I want to take this opportunity to thank you and the Rebbitzin for being there for us always, especially during the emergencies that we've recently had. And I'll always remember, Rabbi, that you were the first one there. You're the first one to tell me what was going on. It was a very traumatic time for me. And because of you, I really believe that everything has stabilized and everything is just fine and well now. Knowing that you're there and you are supporting us. And I can't thank you enough. I really, really appreciate it. And of course, I want to thank you for all that you've done for the community, but specifically for my own family. They have participated in your preschool and your Hebrew school and all the other and many other activities. But I want you to know that my daughter, as a school teacher, had investigated all the preschools in the entire neighborhood, in the surrounding area, and she found that Hani's school was the best one of all. And she says that to everybody. And the wonderful thing was that my grandchildren were a couple of doors away from me and I could see them at any time. So that was a plus also. So Rabbi and Hani, may you be blessed with all that you want and need in the coming year. Thank you again for everything, and Mazel Tov.
Mazel Tov. Thank you. It goes two ways. You know, you have been there for us since day one.
Day one,
so
right.
happy to be such close neighbors and to be involved with your daughter and your son-in-law as well. Both of your daughters.
I always brag that the Chabad is right on my block. It's wonderful.
We're very lucky to have you. Thanks.
Lucky to have you. Okay.
Jeff?
Rabbi, I got to check out, but happy birthday. Everyone stay well as well.
Dave, you were the first one to welcome us at the first Hanukkah party. I think it may have been.
It was Rosh Hashanah. It was a pre-Rosh Hashanah
Pre-Rosh
holiday.
Hashanah.
for-
Thank you.
With the foxes.
Hi, Dave.
Thank you, Dave, for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you, and happy birthday. Yom Haledet Sameach.
Right.
Thank you. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow at some point in the parade.
Yeah, I'll try. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff.
Jeff, you're up.
Oh, hi. I'd like to wish you a happy birthday on Haledet Sameach. I was actually in the Gemara Shir earlier with Meir and popped back over here just to say happy birthday.
That's very nice.
So we appreciate everything you do. We hope that everything is going to get back to normal very soon.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Shviga, you're up.
Finally. Mazel Tov. You hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Mazel Tov, Yom Haledet Sameach. And to tell you, you should go with Chayil al Chayil. I love that piece of video that you just sent. And to join people should come to the parade. And it was amazing. I said, you continue the shlichus even if you are all in lockdown. So you are just amazing. You should have a lot of nachas from you, and you should have
Amen.
many happy years together with all your family and gesunte Jahren. And especially we have to, all those that had the coronas have to make a very big suda.
Yeah, my mother-in-law had the corona, and thank God, Baruch Hashem, you're well and healthy.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem and Chani.
We thank the Eibishter and
yeah, we all had it, and thank God that we are here to wish each other. Baruch Hashem and Rabbi
yes.
Shimon Bar
I hope for
Yochai.
everybody.
And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai should already come through and send all the brachas that all these things should go away, and the Mashiach should come right away.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Howie, you're up next.
Howie? Howie, you're up.
Howie?
Howie fell asleep.
Okay.
Okay.
Something's wrong with his video. I don't know.
All right, we'll go to. Okay, Malka.
Malka?
Howie's waiting for Tefillin Club to wish you a happy birthday.
Label, you want to say something? Label, you want to say something? Okay, go. Oh, we can't hear you. You're muted. Happy birthday.
Huh? Thank you, Label. A lot of nachas from you.
It's better for 8 o'clock. It's
Hebrew, your turn.
it's after they had a whole speech in the Oh, you
Okay, you're up.
Thailand. Thailand?
You're unmuted.
Okay, Abe. Abe, you're up next.
Can't see you, but
Go ahead.
you can say hello.
Okay, so maybe something wrong with your microphone.
Okay.
Okay.
For all those that are still watching on YouTube, sorry that we can't hear you, but Mazel Tov, thanks for joining as well. And did we get everybody? Benjamin, do you want to say something?
Happy birthday.
Benjamin, thank you. Is anybody else? Please unmute yourself. L'chaim to all. Again, thanks for joining us. And may we always share together many more simchas and happy occasions. L'chaim. Thank you, Chani, for making this beautiful birthday party.
I also want to thank Weasel for all the behind the scenes help, and who else was involved with this? Rabbi Cantor, everybody else.
Rabbi, happy birthday. Hopefully
Thank
Tefillin
you.
Club soon.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night. Oh, Howie.
Yeah.
Night.
Right.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Night. Thanks, everybody,
Bye.
Bye-bye.
for joining. How are you on?
No, I know he's listening. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Okay, Sean, Randy.
Bye.
Bye.
Everybody, good night. Happy Lag BaOmer. See you all tomorrow.
Oh, somebody did a happy birthday screen. That's very cute. Whoever did that. The kids.